Hello everyone, and welcome to the second of my Card and Cuppas for May 2025. This month we've been making cards for men. So bear with me for 2 seconds whilst I just double check that this is going out live, which I'm hoping it is. Should be. Looks like it. Yep, good. Although there's a bit of a delay, but hey, anyway. So this month we have been making cards for men, at least when I say making, this is only our second one, because this is the second event. So this was the one that I came up with for today. And I've used an old Stampin' Up! Stamp set called He's All That, which is this particular bit that I've used. But I also took this one called Adventurous Sky, which I think is also an old one. I don't know if it's in the new catalogue because I'm not doing Stamping Up anymore. I'm just making use of my old supplies. So I took that one as well. And I just wanted to go through this, make another card, which is not necessarily going to be a male one. I wanted to show that even with the same kit, you can make whatever you really want. So the kit for today's card had obviously the envelope in it, because you can't send a card if you don't have an envelope. We had a smoky slate. Actually, it looks like grey, smoky slate, or it could even be grey granite. Base card, so that's an A4 sheet cut in half, the other piece being sort of there. There was 2 pieces of white cardstock. The first one, the larger one, was to go inside the card, and the smaller piece was to go on the front. There was a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. These are all Stampin' Up! Colours, again to go on the front. And then there was also a piece of embossed white. Now obviously you can use whatever embossing folder you want to. Because I was making a male card, I kind of wanted to keep it sort of gender neutral. So this has just got some wording and some splodges on. But obviously if you're doing a feminine one, then you can put flowers and all sorts of things. If it's the masculine one, then you could do something like this, or stripes, or something that's kind of quite generic. So there was that. A punched circle, I think that was the 2-inch. That was the 1 3/4, that one. Piece of double-sided paper. So one side is Misty Moonlight sort of wood effect. And then the other side has these planks, panels, stripes, whatever you want to call them. I think they're supposed to be looking like panels, because I think this was Country Woods, I want to say. She says trying to find the paper now. I had it and then I put it back in my stash. Goodness only knows where it is. It's in here somewhere. It's just right next to my desk. But anyway, so yeah, so I had that. So for the card that I took as a sample, I used the actual the wood, the Misty Moonlight wood effect, and then these 2 pieces also come from the paper pack. They're just simply strips of the paper. I wanted to hide where the join is on the front, and I also wanted to put something on the inside just to show that the inside is decorated. And then last but not least, there was a piece of baker's twine, which is, again, I think that was from a retired pack. So I also use that to decorate. People either love using the twine or they hate it. It's really funny because when I used to do the classes, people would look at this and say, no, I'm not going to use it. Other people like embrace it and would love using it, but it's really up to you whether or not you want to add some. I mean, obviously, if you're doing a feminine card, you could add it as a bow. Here, I've just sort of put it behind the circle here, just using some foam pads, and it's sort of poking out. So it's not in any particular sort of design, it just happens to be what was poking out at the time. Anyway, so that was the kit that everybody had. And I guess I need to figure out what I want to do. So I can't decide, am I going to use the Adventurous Sky stamp set, or am I going to do something more feminine, such as a peony, or could even do a butterfly? And I just can't decide. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to play around. So I've got my circle here. Apologies if this light is flickering. It's kind of really odd. I don't know why it's doing it. Hopefully it's not on the way out. I've got one of these little large ring lights to the side. So I'm just going to grab these stamps. So I've got the cloud. It would help to actually put it the right way down. I've got the plain. Also got I was going to use a sentiment, which is really odd because it's that one, flying by to say hi. I was thinking, where is it? But there it is. So I'm just going to stamp this on here, and then if I don't like it, then I'm just going to start again and use something completely different. So I think I'm going to try and put that down the bottom there. Going to put a plain on. I don't care. I'm not one of those people that has to have the whole of the image on whatever I am using to decorate. Quite happy for it to be off. So I'm going to put that there to start off with. So I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight ink pad and simply stamp this up. Ink this up even. Ooh, it's a bit heavy. Oh, it's actually come out all right. So I'll put that down the bottom. Now I don't have to worry at the moment as to the orientation because this is a circle. So if I sort of turn it on the wonk, I could just easily have just turned that around, but managed to get it sort of fairly straight. Actually, I do need to keep this. Then I'm going to just put the aeroplane on. Just trying to see where the wheels are, because so I kind of want it there. So I'm just going to put it at an angle, I think. In fact, I don't even know that I'm going to put it completely on there. Kind of looks like it's doing a bit of a nosedive. Right, so that's the plane. And then, I don't know, that cloud looks a little bit too large. There is a smaller one. I don't know about anybody else, but we actually had a lot of thunder rolling around earlier. The sky went really black. And there was a couple of ridiculously large claps of thunder. Rained a little bit. It's been raining on and off all day. But it's also been quite warm, a bit humid, which I guess is why we had the thunder. Didn't see any lightning. That's not to say there wasn't any, but I just didn't see any. So I'll use that, I think. Just put that there. Put this on. Actually, I'm going to stamp off a bit and put that on because I want it slightly lighter. Yeah, that's that. And I think I might just colour in the plain a bit. So I've got some smoky slate. I don't think petal pink will look very good on this. So let's just use my smoky slate. I wouldn't normally. And I'm only going to be rough and ready with it because it's just a basic lined image with a little bit of detail. And I guess I could put a little bit of grey for the clouds. I'm not going to, as I said, I'm going to completely colour it in. Let's see how that looks when it's on that. Actually, that's turned out quite well. So I quite like that. So I think I will use that after all. The question is, though, do I use... So I have my white. Let's start putting this together. So the smaller piece of white's going to go on here. And then this is the embossed piece, which is, again, it's slightly, it's like a ½ centimetre smaller. Now, do I want to use the blue, like so? Or do I want to use the striped? See, the stripe actually that works quite well. Like that. I think I want more stripe than I want paper embossed. So it depends. So these are both cut to the same size. Did that deliberately so that you can decide whether you want to have more of one than the other showing. So if you want more of the stripes or the blue showing, then you want that piece on the top. If you want more of the white showing, then that's the bit that goes on the top. So I quite like that. And then I've got my stripes like that. I think that works. And then that's going to go on top. And again, you can put this where you want. So let's make this up. So I'm going to put the paper on first. Now, you don't have to put that strip of paper on if you don't want to. You can just leave it off. It's really up to you. There it is. No, that's stuck to that. There we go. Buried it. Now, this actually does have a right way and a wrong way. So I don't want the deboss because there's wording on here. It will be back to front. So I do want to make sure that I do have that the right way round. And I want to make sure that it's not only am I got the embossed side up, but that I have the words the right way up as well. And it's actually quite hard. Well, it says 4 there, so I'm going to make sure you assume that that's the right way up. So that's that. Do I want to use... Well, seeing as I've got 2 pieces of paper here, that's just more of a plain. Actually, I quite like that. Now, I did deliberately cut it too long, just in case people wanted to use it the other way around, and i.e. inside the card, and I need a pair of scissors. There they are. So I'm just going to rough and ready cut this. Oops. I've cut it too short, but that's okay. You can fix that quite easily by cutting it half, having the top and the bottom actually matching up, and then you just, whatever gap you've got there, you just put your circle on. But I don't think that's actually too bad. It'll be fine. I'm just going to glue that bit on there, and again you can put it more onto the double-sided paper, or more onto the embossed piece, It really does depend on how much you want to have showing. I'm just putting more on the paper. And I'm really only just using that just to hide the join. If you don't mind the join, as I said, you can simply just not put it on at all. Let's put this actually on the card front. So that can go on. Actually, it's not going on the card front, it's going on that panel of Misty Moonlight. And then it's going on the card front. Like so. There we go. And then we have our flying by to say hi, which you can use for all sorts of things. You don't necessarily have to use it for a birthday. How do I want to use this? So what I had suggested to everybody is that they tie a knot in the end. This is just how because I hate having like loose ends. Some people quite like have the loose ends like coming out, but I'm not overly keen on it. And then just wrap it around your fingers, and then from there just sort of start pulling it into sort of loops and whatever. But obviously you want to hide that join bit in the middle. So I used some foam pads for that. Because you want the foam pads anyway to fix the circle onto your card front. So if you use it to fix this on, so you've got this holding the twine on, then you've still got the other side when you peel this off that will then stick to the card. So there is some method in my madness. And then, as I said, just sort of try and loop it so that you've got some bits sticking out. And it really, personally, I don't mind what does or doesn't stick out. So I'm just simply going to hold bits using the foam pads. Let's see, put that bit down there. And of course you've got the benefit, you can actually turn this around so you can see what you're doing or not doing, as the case may be. So you could have it looking so that it's doing like loop-de-loops. Or, oops, go down there, stay there. Right, just need a bit there. Hold that down. Where are they? There they are. So I've got those three holding those down. And I'll just put a couple more on just to fix it onto the card front. Once I've picked all these bits off, that is. Sometimes these come off really easy and other times they can be a little bit of a pain, but hey. And then again, it depends. You can put this exactly where you where you want to. I'm just going to put it down towards the bottom like that, I think. And then I'm going to add that with some more foam pads, some more dimensionals. Oh, I can use that bit as well. Waste not, want not, and all that. Obviously, it had made up its mind that it didn't want to stay on that piece of backing. I'm going to put that on there. So that's the front done. I've got the inside to do. So again, I can add that strip or I can stamp. I think I'm going to stamp again this time and not use the other strip. And I've also got my envelope to decorate, so I'm going to do that as well. So let's do the inside of the card first. I'm not going to colour it though. So I'm going to just like that. So that's going to be the inside, and then again I'm going to do the envelope. Oops, don't want that one first. I want to do the plain first, I think. This time it's not going into a nosedive, it's just doing a gentle landing. And I've got that bigger one, so I think I might use that for a bit of variety. Okay, it's just about to go into the clouds. So that's the inside and the envelope stamped. Just trying to move my blocks out the way so I don't end up putting something on them. That would be a bit of a disaster. I have to say we were having quite a lot of fun with the ink this morning. It just seemed to be going everywhere. I think it was because the first card that I took, this one, here, when I did the envelope, I stamped just the card, and what I did was I used the whole stamp, but then I masked the words so that they didn't then stamp onto the envelope, which meant that people got quite inky because they had to remove the washi tape before they stamped. So you just put the washi tape on the bits that you don't want, ink up, and then remove the washi tape, which means having to get your fingers in what is quite an inky bit of washi tape, and then what's left is just basically the bit that you want that is inked up on the stamp, and then you can stamp it. Anyway, so that is my card. So basically I've used exactly the same kit as this one. All I've done is I've simply turned the paper over. That would work quite well also with a flower. Let's see, do this. I've got a moment. Will that fit on? Yes, so that will fit on. So you could just as easily stamp a flower. Although this time I would suggest, especially if you're colouring a lot of it, I would suggest, and using alcohol markers to colour, that you use a memento. So a ink that is the opposite to the markers, because the markers are alcohol markers, and then you can then colour with the alcohol markers. Like so. It's going to be ridiculously quick. Yeah, let's put that as pink as well. So that was the dark one. Should have used the light one first, but that's okay. Do I want the thin end, I think. So just pretend that I actually inked that with the light first, and then the dark. Like so. And let's quickly do a leaf or two. Oops. This is Old Olive. Should be the light one. I'll just quickly do that. So that's what it looks like as a masculine card. Let's lose the envelope for a minute. Or you can do it as a feminine card. So the pink will tie in with the pink that's on the stripy plank things. So I just wanted to show you that you can actually use it for both masculine and feminine cards. But that's not what I made, that was what I made. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. Next, it's crumbs. We've got bank holiday Monday next week. So because of that, there's no craft and chat on Monday. So the next Monday after that will be the first craft and chat of June. And then that same week, we will be having Card and a Cuppa again over at Home Grange. So hope you've enjoyed seeing these cards. Please feel free to leave a comment and take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.